Hello, Collective, to a timeless reading. Please bear in mind a few things before we get into the reading. I am a master healer. I am Master 7th, aka 7th, and reads these energies for you. Should you want to know what I have to offer via remote sessions and or tarot intuitive insights, there is a link in the description box for you. There are other various links made available for how to navigate this channel and gain access to my sister channel. Okay? And again, these are timeless messages. Please be aware that feminine and masculine energy is non-gender specific. And this is not a one-to-one reading. This is a general collective insight. All right. All right. 10 of Cups. So, okay. You don't really know how to begin on telling your story. We have 3 of Wands and the Ace of Cups. There is something monumental that has happened in your life and you kind of want to talk about it. You want to address it. All right. This could also be like heavy hitter topics here. Okay. This is like wanting to, it's almost as, well, it's almost as if someone is trying to open up a cold case, or there is a cold case being opened up again, and somehow it's connected to you some way or another. You know, like either I'm hearing cold case and that it may resonate with someone. Okay, so whether or not you're an investigator for one, or you are in the position of being involved within a cold case and it's coming up again, or you're not aware or wondering, I'm getting that it is. Okay, so very interesting. I myself, as a reader, you know, there's ways that I'm so excited to like just give as much content as I can and to remain diligent, to be in a position to be able to do that. And then there's dabbles of where I'm really intrigued by wanting to pursue reading for energies kind of in the field of forensics and crime. So maybe keep that in your back pocket, that maybe I'm hearing the signs to go down that avenue. If you're someone who's interested in that for some reason and have something that you'd like to share with me, feel free to reach out. And yeah, or in general, I've come across some tarot readers that provide readings in that niche, and you know, having returned and seeing what their status is, they haven't really been active for some years now. The ones that I know, and maybe you're curious as to why no one really does. Anyway, very interesting. Okay, so I'm hearing cold case. Oh, okay. They want me to pick actual cards out for this. All right, this is a cold case reading. This is I don't know what the crime is. Oh, the crime is, yeah. All right. Oof. All right, cold case, and then you have the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Swords come out. That's some fucked up shit. Someone is held responsible for being a suspect of some kind of this doing, of a murder, and they're overrun with the guilt. And because they do, that guilt is perpetuating into real-time drama and into I'm hearing like a signal of telepathy, where the person that can hear thing is auditorial, is taking notes. So it's almost like it's just about, it's like being in the viewpoint of someone who's reading the energy of a cold case energy. They're listening to energies, and part of what they're listening to is this person having done something fucked up. Okay, like pretty fucked up. I myself am like getting, like my personal opinions are coming through here. Like, wait, I want to show up and read. Okay, so maybe I'll think about doing that. Who knows? Watch like 10 years later go by. I'm like, I still haven't delivered the reading. This timeless message. Time is irrelevant, and at the same time, is such a heavy burden to deal with. Time, when all you really want is an answer. All you really want is justice of a situation, and you are battling with an inevitable justice, trying to figure out if you can find more forensics of a situation or diminish forensics from being found out. Like, this is a seesaw of emotion. You're either the person who committed a crime and doesn't want to be found out, or you're an individual that can speak of the crime that's committed and are trying to figure out how to bring the forensics out, you know? So it's like, which way is this energy going to make an everlasting uproar of the wave, and perhaps give permission to all the unopened cold cases, okay? Because I'm somebody personal level too that enjoys the information and that niche or genre, very much so. Okay, that's how I also entertain my guides, because we're all trying to make sense of what the fuck is going on in those situations and how to lessen that shit and get rid of it completely would be really fucking nice. So how do we fix a broken world, and how do we fix a broken mind that brings injury to others? There are a lot of people who are on the fence whether or not a broken mind can be fixed, and we have medicine for that, you know? Am I a healer that believes that human doesn't need to do anything in order to be able to fix themselves? Yes, I do. Do I understand the ego is a whole different genre to being human that wants to either expedite or slow down their process? Yes, because your choices just lets them do that. You know, you can either pick up that type of healing method or venture in that type of method, like whatever you choose. In one way or another, some people that suffer with addictions, they think that's a form of healing because they're answering to something. And then if they come to a position where they're overrun with being exhausted with what they think is their healing, they're in a state of like, all right, I've done this too many times, I'm fucking exhausted, I don't even know where to fucking go. If you're someone who has, you know, suffered with taking the news of Matthew Perry's death, you know, I'm someone who was, and I was interested and did read his book, and he talks about a very interesting yet common perspective shared by those who struggle with addictions of some kind, of the overrun obstacles that occur within showing up to answering to something. And you might know it's not a good thing that you're answering to and trying to have that be the source of giving you an answer, but literally all you have that you know of is aiming that way, or is showing that this is the way that you need to go. And no matter how big or small you think you are in the variable of the world, you're bigger than the world, and the world can't make decisions for you. You make decisions within this world, okay? So people go into that route of exploration, whether they have whether or not they have a fast track ticket or not. Some do, you know. Then you have conspiracy around certain niches like Hollywood, what they can do to individuals, what they have done to individuals, what they still do now to individuals, and how that same mantra can exist in the same time and space as everything else around it is saying we're no longer wanting you to exist. So that's just the inevitable timeline that has to kind of like cocoon and mummify the situation as what is, so that what is suffocates and can't breathe anymore and live sustainably on its own or gain any access to anything. Okay, that's the best way to kind of also explain how pretty much treating cancerous energy within a body. All right, you try to isolate the issue as much as possible. You want to make the environment around the vessel as comfortable as possible and so healthy that it can't sustain in that energy anymore. So it pretty much is forced to go out. Oversimplified explanation as to what I'm saying and stating at this time. Okay? Yeah, that's just the cookie cutter of the energies wanting to come through in that form and fashion. So when we talk about when you may have come across like Netflix and shit like that with cold cases, and understand there's a technological way of pretty much taking old cases and putting them in a system called CODIS and getting quite valuable information of getting closer to a problem. That's like taking all the narratives around what you don't know is the problem and having all those variables identify the problem. And that's an exquisite way to understand that's how the ether is working in complete infinitum of full, not full circle, but full infinity of symbol, okay? 2 360s energies coming together and saying that because we're operating this frequency, nothing is comfortable anymore. Nothing that wants to stay off niche in a corner is going to be allowed to do so. Everything is included. Everything deserves divine justice. Everything, like everything. And wherever you're in your timeline of like wanting this to have a faster pursuit, a faster answer, I would almost say that within this timeline, give yourself like 3 to 6 years to see whether or not like news of like what seems like, oh, this is going to take like 20 or 30 years to figure out, or this, whatever. I think within that timeline, what you thought would take longer in that marginal room of 20 years may just be finite and bring to the surface of some sort of solution, more or less, if you can put it that way, within like a 3-6 year time frame. I don't know what that means. I don't know what angle this could sway in, because this is for the both angles of the infinity symbol. It's not a circle. It's not round. It's a duality. Okay? And both seculars have a mass within themselves that is dual, but it's culmination of multidimensional. Okay? And so, yeah, it presses the limits on everyone who is feeling guilty about something, is an asshole to someone, is abusive to another, and Lord have mercy, will they reap the rewards of the consequences, okay? And rewards can be ill-fitting or beneficial, whatever the fucking it wants to bring closure to this cold case. All right. Let's see what else wants to come up. Collective. A lot of nervous energy, okay? Maybe having to do with not wanting to be discovered because you don't want to lose, or you know someone who doesn't want to be discovered, or you don't want to talk about it because they just don't want to lose out of their material gains. They don't want to go to prison. They don't want to go, the person that they might know is contingent to a story, they don't want to go, have them go to prison. Like, there's a fleeing of injustice, you know? Very interesting. I'm new to the game of being online for y'all, alright? So this is quite intriguing that this is coming up at this time. Right, so I fucks with it though. I'm well aware who I am and what I'm reading for on both of my channels. Alright? Alright. Someone's maybe even thinking about like leaving, and like leaving places, leaving Ace of Pentacles, leaving. You're thinking about leaving. Some of y'all are thinking about escaping, wondering how you can escape a situation. Because this doesn't have to be criminal, okay? This could be civil. Whatever it is, it's war. Yeah. It's war. 9 of Swords with the Empress here and a 3 of Cups. Whatever this cold case situation is, could either be a criminal one or a civil one, or one that is just the war of your house. The house that you keep, the house that you live in, the house wherever you go to sleep. But there sure as hell is an energy around this bubble that is not to be trusted. And this person has a lot of control in how this bubble operates. This person is pretty intelligent. However, I wouldn't say necessarily too wise. Okay. This person is dancing in the limelight of things and the successes and the abundance, but in the background, they're really, really struggling with this energy. Their background is that maybe they're a cheater and like a full-blown narcissist, all right? Maybe a womanizer of some sort, non-gender specific energy here. Like for sure, non-gender specific energies, because I sure as hell also see like feminine energy coming through here, okay? They're also very much, also because of the Empress energy, but this is all non-gender specific. This is just the loudest, y'all know, or don't know, I don't care. Yet this person is hiding within, it's more like a dual life, all right? So if you're a listener just bypassing this reading and none of this makes sense, it's because you're meant for it to not make sense. You're part of the keeping it under wraps. You're part of that. You're one of these swords. You're not meant to know, but you sure as hell been impacted and to be able to be a dominion if anything were to be said, you, like some version of you may be like, oh, interesting. Like consider yourself marked, okay? Like you're marked of responsibility or being a witness to something. Maybe you heard a story over a drunken night and it makes you feel uncomfortable. I don't know. Who knows? All right. But this is something that definitely makes you also possibly uncomfortable. And if it makes you uncomfortable, maybe it's a possibility of truth because there's something in your neuron receptors that are saying, yeah, there is. It's making me uncomfortable. That's why I'm giving you this trigger. What are you going to do with the trigger that I'm giving you? I've just triggered you. The body has just triggered you. What is the outcome of being triggered? Is it fight or flight? All right. Are you running away from something in order to protect that someone, or are you running straight out to someone with nothing to lose? I think we're going to be in this reading for a minute. Who knows? I don't know. It feels very strange. It's like, I don't know how to explain. It's like, I want to be talked about and I want to just pick you out. Not you, but the reading itself wants to like exploit someone. 5 of Pentacles with the Sun card. All right. Yeah, they want to, the Ether wants to take this moment of opportunity to make someone uncomfortable. They want to trigger, okay? And even if you're someone who is not meant to be at the onslaught of trigger, what you now know may trigger someone. So you might be just a variable part of this cold case file. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you're taking in this information just because it's interesting. Maybe you're just here to entertain me, you know, by supporting me. Who knows what your reason, whatever the reason is, it's a reason. And that reason doesn't need to be explained for it to have a reason. That's the same way your body might be reacting and you're like, well, I'm just having a reaction. If you lean into the reaction, you might be like, it's fear. And then, but maybe if you think about it, it's like, well, I'm not really in fear unless I just want to know what's going on. So then maybe it's something within you that understands something or it wants to teach you something in the future. I don't know. Or remind you of something in the past or make you aware of something now. Or maybe, you know, maybe you're meant to explore these type of energies so that you understand what energies you're supposed to make sense of. Because maybe you're supposed to be also a reader for the criminal forensics of tarot. Have that be a niche. Maybe it's you that's supposed to be reading it because you're getting signs and signals when you go to sleep that are really strange of like, okay, wait, am I supposed to read upon this and let that person know. Try to find that person. And there are books. I don't know if I can find it, but there is like a teenage book that is fantasy. There it is. A series by Laurie Faria Stolars. She wrote the books Red is for Remembrance, Silver is for Secrets, White is for Magic, Blue is for Nightmares. Okay. I read, if not all of those books, like 15 plus years ago. Okay? And alright, I meant to apparently read some of this for you. This is from Goodreads.com. Blue is for Nightmare, okay? Stacy's junior year at boarding school isn't easy. She's not the most popular girl at school, or the smartest, or the prettiest. She's got a crush on her best friend's boyfriend, and an even darker secret that threatens to ruin her friendships for good. And now she's having nightmares again. Not just any nightmares, these dreams are too real to ignore like she did 3 years ago. The last time she ignored them, a little girl died. This time they're about Drea, her best friend, who's become the target of one serious psycho stalker. It started with weird emails and freaky phone calls. Now someone's leaving Drea white lilies, the same death lilies that have been showing up in Stacy's dreams. Everybody thinks it's just a twisted game until another girl at school is brutally murdered. There are no witnesses. Worst of all, no one has a perfect alibi. With everyone as a potential suspect, Stacy turns to the one secret weapon she can trust. The folk magic taught to her by her grandmother. Will Stacy's magic be strong enough to expose the true killer, or will the killer make her darkest nightmares come true? There's that, y'all. Excuse me. Excuse me. We have the orator, communication and confidence. So yeah, I do think that there is a sense of responsibility with the illuminated skull, third eye, to be able to recognize something of the dark energy. So maybe you can communicate with the non-living. With the undead, let's put it that way, because they're living. We also have the Queen energy, determination, sacrifice. She's the communicator of the upside down world. Okay, she's in control. She only understands to receive the message when she's ready to receive all the message, and then when she's done, she cuts it off. Okay, to be able to process the message and be able to know what to do. We have the Hound, loyalty, chains, promises. Okay, that's the Queen energy coming through, non-gender specific energy saying that I understand, I received the message, and I'm going to show up like the wolf and show up to play. This is not a wolf in sheep's clothes. This is a wolf. Okay, some of you are meant to expose the wolf in sheep's clothes. We have the shepherd, celebration, family. All right, the wolf in sheep's clothes. All right, so yeah, you're meant to more or less assist being the majority of you. The ones on high vibrational notes are meant to assist bringing the energies together that need to transform and transgress. So that has a lot to do with also taking in this energy, knowing that it has maybe a sense of purpose within you, and receiving it and applying yourself. And applying dignified characteristics of self to this lesson, to this understanding or understanding. Jesus. Okay. The Masquerade, hiding your true self projection. Okay? So yeah, you're hiding yourself, you're not aware of it, and then you're very much aware of it. Alright? It's like in your face, the murder weapon is right in front of you, kind of thing. The clue is right in front of you. Okay? I wouldn't be surprised if someone within your social circle is actually someone who they're not. Okay? The Acolyte, new projects and learning. Then we have the Alchemist, balance, invention, and destruction. And then we have the Wise One, tradition and order. Okay. So we're seeing here a metamorphosis happening here that we can't really make sense of, yet the energies are absolutely too loud to fucking ignore, okay? And that's where you more or less have an understanding that there are some energies within this universe that you're just never going to be able to be on time with to get to explain. You just kind of just have to ride the wave. And that's more or less all of you trying to figure that out right now, bring it all fucking together, okay? Making sense of this shit. So there's woo-woo energy coming outside that's making its manifest for you, accepting it via your third eye. Then your intuition in the inside of your body is saying, yes, I want to follow it with my third eye. I do see, I do want to believe. All this energy is happening and enforcing a dialogue of a reality while then also seeing the world for the third dimensional aspect it is and showing up to that real time without being crazy. And without also allowing other people to explain and say that you're crazy. That you accept the prejudice coming your way, but you filter it throughout yourself to be a beautiful caricature and individual on this earthly realm, and doing with all resources to keep you stable, whatever they may be. To some degree, a lot of those energies that people think are stable energies are actual controversial energies and come kick you in the ass. That's where some things can go wrong in life, and then you feel overrun and tired and overburdened here with the Ten of Swords card, and then maybe so overrun that it then goes into the niches of your third eye, the mental space, because you're dealing possibly with nightmares, okay? If you're dealing with nightmares and you're exhausted when you wake up, it's because your third eye closed and you can't make sense of shit anymore. There's no connection with what you see and what your belly feels. There's no connection. The human body doesn't understand how to process that shit anymore because it's closed. And then for some of you, the shit is so open, you're feeling so much, but everything's happening in such speed of time and space that you almost are late to everything. And you don't know how to catch up. You have things be opportunistic, but then they come and go in waves, and you just don't understand how. And you're trying to like almost put like a dam in so that way you can channel this energy and like enjoy the moment. Alright, let's go a little digging, because it is what it wants it to be. So it wants to go under the ground. Under the ground means into the darkness of what we think we don't know. And for that, I'm going to use this deck. Depending on the imagery itself, I'm not too certain if I can show it for you to be able to follow along. It's funny how it's weird how like algorithm of the old traditional tarot has been accepted, because there are some things that are just like nude or raw within the traditional tarot that it's like, why doesn't that get flagged? And some other depictions do. All right, be forewarned, this deck doesn't speak in regular tongues of Pentacles, Swords, Cups, and Wands, okay? We have Page of Vessels, promotion, hard work, dedication, loyalty, and career. So someone's stick is up their ass. You know? Try to quickly show it. We have Knight of Books, arguments, new ideas, and teachings. So someone was jealous of someone. This is having to do with the underground dialogue, okay? How it's connected to anything specific. It's more or less the ambiguous energy right now, okay? That's not the point of it. However, what wants to be the point of it will be a hint, okay? It's not fact, it's a hint, okay? So there are elements within the underground world that need to share their knowledge, their light of knowing and know-how. But the only way they can really get some of the information across is the language used from the world above. And the world above wants to ignore most often the existence from the world down under. So it's not really in the know-how or in the maybe even interest to pick up the language what the underworld is all about, okay? And the expression of the underworld wants to explain that it's not an energy to one fear, yet there is a lot of energy that didn't make it that returns to that spot, because in that spot everything becomes manifested. So to reach that level and become hungry to get more is something that not a lot of people enjoy doing, okay? Not a lot of people enjoy putting a lot of effort within their darkness so they can get fucking out of it, okay? And that's what the secrets of the underworld more or less knows. In doing this and knowing this, they want to bring conflicting energies to the name of the game of what it means to exist, to dabble with the perception if the underworld is even real, and what you think in fantasy the underworld really is, and what it contains, and where it is. Is it in front of you, beneath you, on the side of you, or even fucking tangible and real? What they want to explain is that they'll make the situation so interesting and confusing without giving a damn how many shades of colors you're gonna see something and then still be left if they're talking about the same thing or not. They may or less be able to talk about the same thing over and over and over again and show that example of the same same thing in very different forms. This is how you can go to some unsolved mystery episode, and I'll come across an episode where someone has thought of, there's a conspiracy about a topic of I don't know the episode names. I don't know, but it's the one where the people go to get a tour done for this. I believe it was what do you call that? It's not the point, but they were the people that were offering themselves up to do a tour had confidence in what they were doing, which is not the problem. It's not the moral of the story. It's the people that came to be participatory of this tour that left the tour of the experience, and with them had mystifying situations happen, confusing things happening to them. And then when they all have a story and they more or less kind of highlight of the same structure of the story, but the way the individual looks within the story to share the same thing or the moral of the story, that can change. And that's what the ether is trying to convince the majority, that it can paint whatever lunacies it wants to get its point across until the job will get done. It doesn't care what so-called human things in order to figure out how they got there and what they really want. They just need something done, and they will trigger whatever the fuck they need in order for it to get done with whomever can get it done. Now, does that take away your thinking into knowing that you have ultimate control of your life? Maybe, because you're emotional and you are quote-unquote sensitive, and if whatever that is, you're reactionary. So you're reacting to a galactic message. That galactic message is making its resonancy within you. What you're then accepting with your mental thought of knowing or experience or visions or hearing or listening or even sense of smell and taste, it taste or touch, there is power to that. Okay, that English won't make sense of it for you. Okay, what will make more sense to that is numbers. Yet numbers is a code everyone can talk about, and it's so individual on what one person will think of the number one, while all agreeing the value of one. That's what the ether is trying to go back to. Okay, the ether is trying to get away from language. More or less, I'm hearing y'all created too much of that shit, and all this, I can't speak in this language, dialect of this, dialect of that, and it all being a written word of some kind and then being dictated as the truth has gotten people away from going back to numbers and sticking to a vibration that comes from Earth, comes from the galaxy, the frequency. All right, so people have caused a lot more chaos than necessary, and so the ether is in cahoots in more ways than one, yet already has solved the issue and how to bring closure to it all and bring all that nasty shit gucking at the bottom of the swamp up to the surface, and then someone's going to come in with a filter and clean that shit out like in a pool. All inevitable, already happening. We have Page of Skates, disappointment, failed attempt, and struggle. The Lovers, trust, romance, love. And we have Prince of Vessels, religious or spiritual figure, charity, kindness. So maybe faith is a reason why certain pathways of your life didn't become traveled until one day you realized you can create your own faith and it doesn't have to be dictated towards you and to you. You don't have to be look a certain way, because there are people that you can do a research paper of a very lengthy and maybe even long series of a couple movies to hear how religious individuals or type of environments have caused also treacherous acts upon humanity. So they're coming up with the Page of Swords, Page of Skates, okay, which is, they done know they fucked up, and they all are also trying to figure out, well, how can they make amends? How can they stop this shit from coming? Knowing damn well, in the word of God don't ask for no fucking permission to keep going. So, good luck in trying to hide. And those of them who keep hiding under God frequency sure as hell can't, according to the energies that I read for and the channels I represent. It's not masculine. You sure as hell can try to and will be successful of hiding behind daddy. Masculine. Like the wall that the masculine thing can be. But the force of mommy, gonna cut right fucking through. You're gonna hear mommy's roar. And you're gonna change in need and feeling. What you think is manly, that's feminine. Albeit alpha feminine. There is no more allowance of manipulating innocence. Whatever gender becomes manipulated and then fucked with. And because they get fucked with, they go carry on their life in a narrow point of view because they've been injured. And an ether has to plant within them, and knowing somehow along the way that this world that they're looking on is narrow. It's narrow. It's a narrow road here with these Ten of Swords. They're perfectly aligned. That's how small that window of opportunity becomes because of trauma, for ether to align now. This individual who has gone through trauma. And then there's so much shit happening outside of this center point where all these swords are that are convincing that the center point is not supposed to be accepted or even addressed or that it even fucking matters. If Kundalini is real or not. If this person means it or not. If this person loves you or not. If they're trustworthy or not. If they're loyal or not. All these situations, whether or not, if they're the victim, if I'm the victim, or they're the perpetrator, am I real? Did they really do it? Did it really happen? The center gets questioned all the fucking time, but we sign ourselves up to black and white. Why do we sign ourselves up for black and white if the center is fucked up? And how do we give the energy that is in charge of regenerating and rejuvenating the center the fucking time and space to do that shit? Or that holding on to it and saying, I need to, don't forget me. That's what some people have done in the realm of theology and religion. Oh, well, they're supposed to tell y'all I maybe trigger y'all in this reading, or y'all felt that shit, because, yeah. I don't start off my readings like you're gonna like this shit and this is meant for you. If it's not, it's not. But if you made it this far, you sure as hell gonna be thinking about it. Alright, we have the Conjurer, abilities, creation, and deception. And we have Queen of Coins, asking for help, poverty, using your skills. Some of the things that people have experienced going to temples of teachings were part of a ritual. And then when they go randomly see a medium, they're immediately going to have like their political justice, like their political judgments towards like, oh no, they're doing rituals. They're burning candles and shit. That's some witchy brujeria shit, like hoodoo voodoo. You ever been to church? You ever been part of a mantra? That is as ritualistic as it can come. Y'all gonna be the naysayers to say that because you saw it outside of your vicinity that there's shit? Hypocrite. It's too much. It's too much hypocrisy. It's too much hypocrisy driving into a town and seeing that there are all these different types of churches, and then around the vicinity of all these churches, there's no quality of life. How is that possible? How is that possible? How is not everything flourishing around any energy that depicts itself as anything, especially of higher power of possibility, have anything around it that's dead? If you're thinking cemeteries and you're thinking, well, some churches have cemeteries, you're not understanding the situation. You're not understanding the message. Death. Nice for that to come up now. So we were just talking about the cemetery. And y'all, that's where Bastet's energy comes in, and she's a fucking master of that shit. Alright? She will talk to you nice and sweet until you understand she's not an energy to be fucked with. She's one that protects the energy grounds of anything that happens underneath the grounds of earth and above ground. Of what you ignore and think doesn't come of darkness. That's the night sky in more layman's terms. Not being afraid to close your eyes when you go to sleep at night, and dealing with the energies that come when you're overridden with certain anxieties or feeling guilty. Whatever it is that makes it unsettling to go back into the resting place of which is yours and could get rejuvenated in that center. She's a bit responsible of that. And I'm using a bit lightly The hypocrisy in life are very cute. Very cute. And they don't fucking make sense. And the more they don't make sense, they add to how truth is stranger than fucking fiction. And so they're very adamant to exploit then all the truths. And then tell to everyone listening to that shit, have at it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And we're going to leave it at that. Nice and controversial, like the cold case file it wants it to be. Death card. All right. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space, and may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.